you guys, and welcome back to another episode of Mental Health with Megan. As you can see today, we are in another different space. So I will probably be popping around to different spaces for the next probably season or so of the podcast now that I am interviewing guests. But today I am just going to do a little bit of a life update episode and talk to you guys about some things that have been going on in my life recently. So I figured, why not pour a little glass of champagne and chat with you guys. I just had my 22nd birthday. I cannot believe that I'm 22 already. I feel like my 21st year of life just flew right by. So I celebrated my birthday with my boyfriend and my mom. I went out to brunch. We went out to dinner at this beautiful, delicious steakhouse. I'm a big, steak is my favorite food, so I was very excited about that. And then I celebrated, I went to dinner with my friends, and then actually my best friend Haley from Minnesota, I'm scared to do this right now, it's gonna be loud, I feel like. My best friend Haley from Minnesota came to visit this past weekend. Make a loud noise. Okay, there we go. My friend from Minnesota, Haley, who you guys may know if you've been around for a while, she came to visit me this past weekend in the city, and I finally got to stay the night in Manhattan like I've been wanting to do for so long, since I turned 18. Every year my birthday came around and I was like, you know what, I am going to stay the night in Manhattan with my friends and go explore the city, and I've never gotten to do it, but you know what? This year I did. Haley kind of came at the perfect time. It was a spontaneous and unexpected trip, and we packed a ton of fun into literally 24 hours, literally Saturday night to Sunday, early evening. We packed in a ton of fun. She arrived at 7 p.m. Saturday night. I went home 7 p.m. Sunday, and we had the best time. So cheers to that. I miss you already, Haley. We had such an amazing time, and then when it came time to say goodbye, we both cried. Of course, I feel like that's just the nature of it, is having a long distance best friend and saying goodbye. So that really sucked, especially because that was the first time we saw each other in 4 years. And we only had 24 hours to catch up, which didn't feel like enough time after not seeing each other for 4 whole years. But the whole theme of this podcast episode is kind of that everything in life is about perspective, and that is really true, because even though we were both crying, I was crying in the Uber on the way home, Haley was crying at the bar that I left her at, it puts it into perspective that even though we were really sad, we are both extremely grateful that we got to see each other, because traveling is so expensive and traveling really is a luxury. And when you have a long distance best friend, every time you see each other, you never really know when you're going to see each other again. Chances are when you guys say goodbye, you do not know when is the next time you guys will see each other, which is really sad and really hard. Every goodbye, even though you'll see them again at some point, not knowing when could be really hard. It could be another 4 years before I see Haley again. So it's hard and it's sad and it's challenging, but it's worth it, because all my long distance best friends, it's the kind of friendships that when you get together again for the first time in no matter how long, it's like no time has passed at all. It's like, okay, great, we're back together, now we laugh, oh my god, me and Haley laughed all weekend long. We just go right back to having that connection and that friendship, no time has passed at all. I'm also very grateful for FaceTime. Haley and I were talking about how during quarantine we had all these little FaceTime dates, and we would paint on FaceTime or use Netflix Party and watch a movie together. And I'm so grateful that FaceTime exists, because we still get to FaceTime each other. But yeah, I've been really trying to practice gratitude lately and just perspective, because really life is all about perspective. And I could choose to be sad that she's gone, or I could choose to be happy for the weekend that we had together. We had so much fun. We went to the Sugar Factory, we went bar hopping, she saw Times Square for the first time. It was her first time ever in New York City. So we had a fantastic time. So that's a big update. 22nd birthday, Haley came to visit. I was so happy. I'm going on a cruise in 2 weeks for my birthday, so I'm super excited about that. What else has happened? Oh my god, I feel like I can't even remember the last time I spoke to you guys, just me doing an episode by myself. It's definitely been a while. So those are all the good things that have happened, and of course, guess what? Some not so good things have happened as well. And that's where perspective comes in. Perspective is so important because I can look at all these things that have happened as something bad happening to me, or I can look at them as something good happening for me. And I believe that part of the reason, my life has been so uncomfortable these days is because God has a plan for me and He's putting me on that path. And the way that I choose to perceive these things that have happened matter, and it's a big deal. It's huge, the way that I perceive these things that have been happening in my life. So like I said, the example with Haley about how I could be happy that she came, or I could be sad that she left. I'm going to choose to enjoy the memories and just be happy that she even got to come at all, because like I said, it was very spontaneous, very last minute. We were not sure it was going to happen, and then it happened, so that was super awesome. And then a few weeks ago, got my other wisdom teeth out, which was not fun. I had a lot more problems this time around. Like, I got sores in my mouth. I don't know. I was just having some problems this time around. It healed weird. It's still not fully healed. I had some problems this time around. So yeah, that was definitely tough. But I'm very, very grateful that that's over. I never have to do that again. And the day before I went in for surgery, I lost my job. And I was pretty devastated. I went and cried to my mom about it and was like, you know what, I'm so done trying so hard just to get shit on from the universe. It's I'm trying so hard to make my life the way that I want it to be, and then bad thing after bad thing happens. But I was like, okay, I wanted to leave my job anyway. I was looking for another job, and now here I am, about almost, it's only been 3 weeks actually, but it feels like a lot longer. So it has been a month now, right? About a month, almost a month. I am staying at home, focusing on my business, focusing on my podcast, focusing on my social media, and trying to become a full-time event planner. And I'm terrified because I don't have, a stable income coming in. TikTok, not a stable income. Social media, not a stable income. I'm lucky if I make any money at all some months, and then some months I'm like, wow, I did that. I made a lot of money. This is great. You never know. So, I'm worried about all these things going on, but I know that God has a plan for me, and it really is all about perspective. Instead of I lost my job, this happened to me. No, I lost my job, this happened for me, to give me the opportunity to focus on my education, on business and event planning. I enrolled in this business course, and in September, I took a video of myself after the first consult I had with this woman. And I was like, I just signed up for this business consulting course with literally no more than $300 to my name. What the heck am I thinking? And then here we are, it's April now, and I just started the last week of March, and I feel like the value I'm getting from it is definitely worth it. It is definitely 100,000% worth the money, and I'm grateful that I had the money to spend on that, because for a while I was slowly paying it off, and that wasn't going well, so now I have the money. I was able to pay for that. I was able to fund my little trip to Manhattan. I'm about to be able to go on this cruise, so I'm very lucky. I feel very lucky, even though some bad things have happened. Now before I decided that I was going to just focus on event planning full time, I was interviewing for jobs, and my boyfriend's mom actually sent me a nanny listing on Facebook, and I was like, alright, I've never thought about nannying, but let me just message her. It was a live-in position, which would have been great because I'm trying to move closer to my boyfriend because he lives in a different state. So I was like, okay, let me just talk to her and we'll go from there. So we start messaging on Facebook. She seems really sweet. I check out her page. She's basically an influencer. She has a lot of followers, a lot of people engaging on her posts. She's basically an influencer, right? So I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool because she's really succeeding at a lot of the things that I want to do. She used to be an event planner, she's an influencer, she's an author, all these things, right? So I'm like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe she could kind of be my mentor, right? So basically, that's where I was at, and I was really excited about it, and I went to her home and I met her and her kids and her husband, and she asked me to come nanny for the weekend while she was going to be on vacation, and I was like a nanny slash housekeeper. And I went into her home and I had a really miserable experience because she wasn't there. She was on vacation, her and her husband. So she threw me right into the fire pretty much, and I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy to have someone, come in your home. Granted, I'm sure she did a background check. I'm sure she spoke to my references, whatever. But kind of crazy to have someone you don't really know that well come into your home and nanny while you're on vacation. And she was not happy with my work, and she was one of the first people. The only time I've ever had someone else not be happy with my work was when I was pet sitting a few years back, and my grandma passed away the same week, and I was going to pet sit in between my grandma's wakes and funeral and all that, and the person was not happy with my work. I was still giving it my all, but it just wasn't what they wanted. It wasn't good enough for them. But so this was the second time in my entire life that I've had someone with so many complaints about my work. The only time that I've had someone with several complaints about my work. So she texted me the day after and she was like, hey, how did it go? And I was like, I think it went pretty well because I wanted the job. I was thinking about, taking the job. But I actually didn't want the job. After that weekend, I was like, if I can't even, manage this for a weekend, how am I supposed to manage it for, every day? So I actually really didn't want the job, but I was considering it anyway, just for the money and for the sake of my next steps in life. And she was like, yeah, I'm actually really not so happy about the report I got. And I was like, okay, can you give me some more details on that? Because I'm not really sure what you're not happy about. And she typed me a 10-paragraph text message about all the things I did wrong or didn't do or whatever, and I was just like, wow, this lady is crazy. And she was so rude. She was not a nice person. And the craziest part is that the reason why she's an influencer is because she goes on social media every day talking about gratitude and talking about her life journey from food stamps to first class, and she makes herself seem like the princess of the world, and she's such a nasty person. So I was just upset that whole thing had happened to me. She was like, she paid me for the weekend, obviously, as she should have, and she was like, I feel taken advantage of, and I was like, really? Because I feel like I didn't get paid enough for all the work that I did, So it was just a crazy experience, and I found myself asking why. I was like, why, God? Why is this happening? And I feel like it was kind of to open my eyes to the fact that you cannot believe everything you see online. You cannot fall for everything every influencer has to say. And, she puts on this whole persona on her social media, but then she is really not a nice person behind closed doors. So obviously I'm not going to name drop or anything, but sometimes I really wish I could because it was just quite an interesting experience and something I'll probably never forget. And then a few weeks ago, I had another nanny interview, and the woman had made it sound like, okay, I really want you, you got the job. So she had made it sound like I got the job. And before I left that day, she went over like the whole schedule with me. She asked me all the questions. I spent the day at their house with the kids and with her. And she made it sound like, okay, yeah, like I want you. She was like, can you start Monday morning? And I was like, yeah, I can. And then I texted her and I was like, hey, just confirming, you want me to start Monday morning at such and such a time? And then she texted me and she's like, hey, I'm actually interviewing someone else tomorrow. I'll let you know. Never texted me back, never got back to me. And I didn't follow up because, again, I found myself in the position where I didn't want the job because she wanted me to work crazy hours. She wanted me to work 12 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. And while there were definitely perks and benefits, that didn't sound like it was going to work for me. So I was literally having an anxiety attack for like 4 days straight about this job and about starting this job and about the fact that I was going to have to actually move for this job just for her to not respond and just to not get the job. But that was okay with me because I secretly didn't really want the job. But then I figured, I was like, okay, if I get the job, maybe then that's a sign from God that that needs to be my next step. And if I don't get the job, oh well, then that's his decision for me that I don't need this job and there's something better out there waiting. And that was when I decided I wasn't getting any other leads with jobs that I had applied for. And that was when I decided, let me go all in on myself and my event planning career and see where it goes. I have some savings to get me through the next couple months. Let me do this and let me see if maybe by then, in the next couple months, maybe I won't have to go back to a job that I probably don't like or probably won't want. This past March was also the first month in my social media career that I have made a little bit of money from social media. And when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. I don't really want to say, but to me, it's definitely a little bit of money. You know, can't get me very far, definitely. But this was the first month that I've made money from social media, so I feel like that's kind of a sign too that I'm proving to myself that, hey, if I keep doing this, I can do it. I can do it better every time. I can keep making that money. I can make more money next month. And yeah, so I'm really proud of myself for that. And I think it's kind of a crazy decision. A lot of people in my life also agree that, like, it's kind of a crazy decision that I am waiting to go back to work. But the job market right now is not it. And I can't really use my degree for any jobs because I'm not in that world anymore. I'm not in the theater world anymore. And a lot of people when I went to college did tell me, you're probably going to regret getting this degree. And I did it anyway because that's what I wanted to do. You know, one thing about me is that I will live my life by my rules no matter what. No matter what, I will live my life by my rules and create a life for me that I really want, you know? So of course I did it anyway, and I don't have any student debt. I didn't take out any student loans. Financial aid covered most of my school career for 3 years, which was great. Super grateful for that. And here we are. I'm not going back to college at the moment. Maybe I will someday, probably not, but maybe. But I am taking a business course that's pretty much like college, but you just don't get graded on it. But obviously, I want to do well because I put a lot of money in it. I invested a lot of money into it and into myself. And it's important to me that I take it just as seriously as college as if I was getting graded on it because it's super important, you know. I spent a lot of money on it. I want to get the most out of it. It's a 90-day course. And we have something called a Slack channel, which if you own a business, you might know what it is. And it's basically a Slack channel with the CEO of the business, the COO, the CMO, and then my business consultant. And on the bottom, there's a little countdown, and it says 81 days left to work with 7 people from the company, from Slice. And that little countdown, man, every time I open my Slack channel and my eyes go down to that little countdown, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared because it's like literally a countdown and I can re-enroll at the end of the 90 days. Will I? Not unless I make that money back from my business. I will not re-enroll because I don't have that kind of money right now to do that. But I definitely already think it's worth it because it has me motivated. It keeps me my consultant keeps me like going. She gives me, you know, like a limited time to do different things I gotta do, and she keeps me on track. So far it's been really helpful for me. I have two friends, one actually Rebecca, who was on my podcast the last episode. She was a part of this consulting program, and her business is doing great. She's doing very well. So even though our businesses are very different, I'm an event planner, she's a massage therapist, you know, big difference there, but it just goes to show that this consulting company is really doing something great for business owners. And if you're interested in learning more about it, message me on Instagram, comment something, because I have a referral code for you guys to use, and you could get a discount using my name. So that's pretty cool too. I can kind of share this with you guys, any of my business people or entrepreneurs out there. If you're interested, send me a DM, let's chat about it. I am definitely going to give you all the information that I have about it, and you know, we can go from there if you're interested or not. But yeah, it's been really cool, and having the freedom to wake up every day and do what I gotta do has been great. I get up, I get out of bed as early as I possibly can bear, because I'm not a morning person. I go to the gym, I make breakfast, I go get my little coffee, my little sweet treat. You know, today I woke up and got my Dunkin', now I'm here. And I have the freedom to just live and to just do what I gotta do. And for some reason, I think it's maybe because I'm not trading time for money anymore. I kind of am with my own business, but it's just a different feeling. I'm not so worried about it. I'm not so worried about my finances anymore, which is crazy because I'm making significantly less money now, like $1,500 less almost a month, which is a lot of money, and it's scary. So, but I am proud of myself for taking this leap of faith and doing what I gotta do. And yeah, I mean, I'm freaking proud of myself no matter what the results are, but I do think I'm going to see some good results with this consulting program. I haven't really seen any results yet, but considering it's only been 10 days, I don't think that's really like, you know, like you're not going to see results in 10 days. With a lot of things you do, you're not going to see results that quickly. Working out, eating healthier, starting a business, you know, that's like, fast success doesn't happen often. Fast success doesn't exist. It doesn't happen overnight. It could take 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but as long as you keep going, that's a great sign. And actually, the guest who's coming on this podcast after this episode, her name is Melissa, and she told me something when I was feeling down once about how you only fail when you quit. And that is very true. I completely agree with that. So, like I said, you gotta just keep going and keep trying. This is my third business. My event planning business, for those of you who don't know, is my third business already. I had a drama business that was doing really great before COVID, and then COVID came and wiped it out, and since then it's been very hard to get it back up and running. And then I have my Megan Rogue's Closet business where I sell jewelry and some accessories. That business not going so great, never has gone very great, so that's definitely frustrating. So yeah, this is my third business, but I've never given up. I've shifted, you know, I went from theater to selling stuff to event planning and content creation. I've shifted the path a little bit, shifted the theme, I guess you could say, the idea around it, but I've never given up, and I've never changed the fact or idea that, yeah, I want to be a business owner. I do. That's what I want to do. That's what I've wanted my whole life, as long as I can remember. I decided that, number one, I will never be going into corporate. I will never get a corporate job. I refuse. I don't care how much money they will give me. I refuse. And I will own my own business. And I do. And that's really cool to say. But it's also like, okay, my business isn't where I want it to be. But my point is that, you know, those nanny jobs that I didn't get, all the other like 35 jobs I applied for that I didn't hear back from, it doesn't matter because it all led me to this moment, which is exactly, I feel it in my bones, like it's exactly where I'm supposed to be at this time in my life. So it's exciting. Like I said, scary, yeah, 100%, but exciting. So I encourage you to take a leap of faith and, if you're scared of something, do it anyway, because taking a risk it's what's going to make you go further than a lot of people. A lot of people are just straight up too scared to take a risk. They won't. And then eventually they're going to regret that. And I don't want to die someday regretting that I didn't own my business, that I didn't work for myself, because I don't want to live my life letting another adult tell me that I can eat lunch or can go to the bathroom or when I can do those things or what time I gotta wake up in the morning or what time I gotta be there. I just don't, that's not who I am. Like I said, I live my life by my own rules, and following directions from other people is not who I am. And maybe that's why I don't really do theater anymore. I don't really know. Still can't really pinpoint it. Still can't really put a finger on why I don't. But it could be part of the reason. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to live my life my way. I'm going to create success, and I'm going to create wealth for myself my way. My way or the highway. And you know what? It might take a little longer. There's going to be a lot of bumps in the road. Owning a business is very hard because when you own a business, you're working 24/7 around the clock. But I have a little bit of freedom to say, hey, maybe I don't want to take this client on. Maybe I don't want to do this event. Maybe I need today off. Maybe, I do this today and then I save this for tomorrow. I do have deadlines, obviously, as an event planner, but I don't have those strict deadlines that people are getting in corporate jobs, So I feel very content with where I am in my life right now, despite all the negative things that have happened recently. And it's been a lot. Like, last year was probably one of the worst years of my life to date, and something's got to give, something's got to change, and I'm seeing small little things starting to change that are making a big difference. Just like last month, how I made a little bit of money on social media. Things are finally starting to change. I've been on social media for 6 years. I've been posting on social media for 6 years, and it gets discouraging. It's like, I'm not gaining any followers, I'm not getting any more likes, I'm not gaining any views, I'm not getting paid when I feel like I should be, because if all these people are on TikTok getting paid, why am I not getting paid? I started a new TikTok where I post other kinds of videos now, which has been interesting. It is very hard to gain followers on TikTok, very hard. It takes a long time, so I've been at it for 6 years and I have like 3,500 something. So it takes a while, It takes a while. Growth and success takes a while, and you have to be patient with yourself. And you have to be patient with the fact that you're probably going to be really uncomfortable for a little while, But I'm okay with living with less money for a little while if it means having success and freedom in the future, financial freedom, and also freedom to just not have to respond to a boss, because guess what? I am the boss, and I've had many different jobs since I started working at the age of like 14. So many I can't even count. I've done cashiering, worked in a restaurant, acting, modeling, babysitting, nannying, pet sitting, dog walking. What else have I done? Teaching. Like, I've done so many different jobs at this point in my life that I've seen how bosses treat people, and I know how I've been treated by some of these bosses, and it was not very nice. It was not very nice the way that a lot of them treated me, which is frustrating and upsetting. I am a very kind person, and I've definitely been taken advantage of by some of my bosses in the past, and I will never let that happen again. That being said, something about when I get to the point where I can start having an assistant and another event planner on board with me and things like that, I know I will treat them with respect and kindness and make it a work environment where they want to be, you know? So that's part of my mission too. I just want to be an event planner. I'm just a girl. So ways you can support me, you can go follow my Instagram at Gem Events by Megan. You can follow my TikTok at Gem Events by Megan. You can leave me a Google review, just look it up, Gem Events by Megan. You can plan a party with me, reach out, you'll get a friend and family discount if you use code GEM15, which is for my YouTube fans, GEM15. You can get 15% off discount off an event or balloon art or balloon stands. So there you guys go, a little gift from me to you in case you want to use it. But I absolutely love event planning. I believe I kind of got it from my grandma because when I was younger, she loved hosting luncheons and things like that. And she taught me how to set the table and all those kinds of things. So that was really cool. And she just loved hosting people. She loved having her friends over for luncheons. And I was always there helping her make, arugula and quiche and set the table the right way and which side the fork and knife goes on and things like that. So I think part of the reason I love it is because of my grandma, and I can hear her say to this day, I can hear it in my head, her saying like, I think you should be an event planner, I think you could be an event planner, and here we are, now I am. And I may not have a lot of events under my belt yet, but the ones that I do, I was very proud of, and the clients and customers were very happy with. And owning a business is hard, and it's lonely, and a lot of people are going to doubt you, but it all comes back to perspective. How you perceive yourself and how you perceive your business is the most important thing. The values you have, you will share them with some people and other people won't understand you, and that's okay. But as long as you don't give up, that's the most important thing. So yeah, I think that that's pretty much all I have for you guys today for this episode. I know it's a kind of short one, but I just wanted to catch up with you guys and give you guys a little bit of a life update. Don't forget, you can use the code GEM15 via DM to book your event with 15% off. You can also use this code for balloon arches and balloon stands, or even custom goodie bags or custom party favors. So, with that being said, I think that's all I have for you guys today for this episode. Keep an eye out because we got more episodes coming. Today is actually a batch content day, so I'm filming a couple episodes today, and we got more coming down the line. Did I not upload one in March? No, I did upload one in March, right? Maybe not. I think I might have skipped March. But my goal for the year is to try to upload one podcast every month at least, because they are a big production and I'm only one person doing this by myself, so it takes time and effort. So I'm trying my best. Keep an eye out for more episodes. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!